Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this Google LSA strategy session. Today is Thursday, August 7th, 2025. We've done a few of these sessions now, and they're always really popular. We know Google LSA is a really popular lead gen strategy for you guys, and you want to get the most out of your budget. So that's why we're running another one. We've got some updates on Google LSA. We've got some new tips to share. We're really excited to have you guys here. So thank you so much for joining. As you guys file in, I just want to ask you to, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting a notification that's telling me that my download speed might impact this webinar. So I do apologize. That's going to happen there. But now I have a red bar across my screen. It's glaring at me. Anyway, in the chat, I always like to know who you are, where you're from. So put in the chat your name, your role. Are you marketing director? Are you call center manager? Are you owner? Are you sales director? Are you an inside sales rep? Let us know who you are. Let us know what company you're at. We just love to know like where you guys are coming from and what this helps us to know how to cater the conversation. And also, feel free to ask any questions throughout the webinar. We will do Q&A at the end. We know that for these Google LSA webinars, there's always a ton of questions. So we will probably spend a lot of time answering questions at the end. So if you see your question disappear, it is because I will move it to the Q&A tab. You will see, if you look into your webinar screen, there is a panel on the right, and there are 3 tabs. Chat and Q&A, and I think polls. I don't know if you guys see that, but if you see your thing disappear from chat, it's just moved to Q&A. You can also directly post a question in the Q&A. Either way, we'll make sure we get you taken care of. I see a lot of people here. I'm going to throw out some names. Cindy, who was the first one to respond. Cindy, if I had a prize to give you, I would give it to you. General manager, we have Jancy. I think I pronounced that correctly. Sam, third prize, got in there third at Server Scalers. Will Miller, rolls off the tongue. Oksana Kasatkina. Let me know if I got that right, Oksana. Martin, Catherine, Robert, Melissa, Emma. You guys are just, all these names are coming in, so I'm not going to name all of them, but really appreciate that you guys are here, and we're excited for you guys to learn. Without further ado, I'm going to quickly introduce myself and Hatch, and then I'm going to introduce or have Sam introduce himself, and then we'll get into it. So Hatch is well, first of all, my name is Kristen. I'm the head of marketing at Hatch. I've been here for almost 3 years now. Really short, for those of you, I know we have a mix on this webinar of Hatch customers and non-Hatch customers. For those of you who are not aware, Hatch is a customer contact platform, which enables you to scale one-to-one conversations across the customer journey. So maybe you use an email platform to send out email blasts. That's not what we do. We actually facilitate those one-to-one conversations and at scale, because we know that those are personalized, and that is the building blocks of your revenue growth. So we do that with a mix of automation and AI. And our goal is to help you to get higher conversion with less overhead, whether that's time, money, people, and to make it into a scalable, standardized process. That is my quick spiel on Hatch. Sam, I would love to have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Service Scalers.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Sam, and I am the owner of Service Scalers. We are a home service marketing agency focused on driving leads. So generally what we focus on is everything from traffic to conversions and leads, and then obviously getting you guys appointments, and then hopefully close one deals and revenue, right? So we focus on that front half, generally just as Hatch is getting involved and, you know, helping you get that across the finish line. So we're like that front half, and then Hatch, and then everything else. So yeah, like that's what we do, is we focus on lead and marketing. So
good stuff. Thank you, Sam. Excited to have you here. Learned earlier that Sam purchased a tiny desk walking treadmill. Had a miscommunication at the start, thought it was just a foot mat, and didn't know what he meant when he said it smelled like it was burning, but I think we got that figured out. Those of you, does anybody on this call have I know there are also the under the desk, like cycling, the feet, but feel free to put that in the chat. What do you have at your desk that most others may not have? Would love to would love to know that. Okay,
Never
great.
know.
So yes, as Sam mentioned, Service Scalers is really focused on lead gen, and the connection with Service Scalers and Hatch is Hatch helps you to get more out of the leads that you're generating. It helps you to communicate with those leads, not just right when you get those leads, but throughout the customer journey so that you can retain them, satisfy them, and then keep them coming back for more. So Ethan has too many monitors at his desk. I have 3, Ethan, so I feel you on that. Although I don't think I could live without my monitors. Will would like one of those cycles. I'm right there with you, Will. Maybe we should look at some Amazon links together. Oh, Martin has a climbing hangboard above his door. I like that, Martin.
Oh, so you're like, bro.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Good stuff. And Cindy has an under the desk peddler. That's the word I was looking for. Peddler, not a cycler, peddler. And John has under the desk elliptical. Guys, you guys are killing it. Oh, Pearson, no plants but a Lego orchid. I kind of wish that we could send pictures.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So the agenda for today is we're going to talk about Google LSA. So I'm going to let Sam kind of take it. We're going to talk about LSA, how to get the most out of your spend, talk about budget. There's a few new features. And then I also did mention in the invite that there is a kind of a new competitive quotes feature. So Sam will touch on that. And I will also touch on that as well. So that said, Sam, you take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just crossed the 100 participants line. So
we did. We
have 100 people in this chat right now. So thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
Let's make it worth it and have some fun with LSA. So I'm going to jump in, share my screen. Again, if you have questions, throw them in there. I have a habit of answering questions as we're going, which in some ways is great because it makes sense in context for what we're talking about, but then also kind of annoying because people are like, we want to just get through this. So I'm going to try my best. I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going to leave some to the end. We'll see how this goes. And then my goal is to not kill you. Like death by slideshow is not my goal here. So I'm going to hopefully not just show you, screenshots of the slideshow, but also like get inside of Google and kind of like show you the back end or show you what this actually is. But goal here is for you to be able to walk away from this, being able to self-manage LSA by yourself, right? And so again, as we're going, ask questions because I want you to know what the heck we're talking about. So what is LSA? LSA is local service ads. So if you go to Google and search, right? Because this is the natural path of someone trying to find your business is I've got a leak in my house. I'm like, oh, dang, I got to get that fixed. So I go over to Google. I'm like, roofers near me, or, a plumbing issue, or, my air conditioning goes out and I'm just sweating bullets. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go HVAC companies. Instead of doing near me, I'm going to do Charleston. If I can spell, there we go. Charleston, South Carolina. Wow, that didn't do it. HVAC companies near me. There we go. I don't know why that didn't work. So LSA is these first 3 ads that pop up. That is local service ads. It's the first thing that when somebody searches for an HVAC company near me, shows up. We can do this for roofers as well. Plumbers, electricians. It doesn't matter really what you search for. It should, if there is a service category on LSA, this is the first thing that's going to show up. Now, after that is going to be generally Google ads. And then it's going to be your GMB or Google Business Profile Map Pack. And then it's going to be SEO. So if you want to be in the top 3 search results inside of Google, when somebody goes and tries to search for your service, then you want to be running LSA. Now, they can go into the show more button and see a bunch of more. And if they want to see every single one, they can just do this. And if you notice here, what's going to happen is you can search for get phone numbers, message, or you can share this. So like if I'm searching for my mom, I can share this to her profile, or my wife, or she can share that with me so I can book it. But one thing I want to show real quick that I think this is important, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. This person has 637 reviews. This one has 152. This one has 767. How come these people are showing up higher than this? Stay tuned. We'll learn more about that. But the first thing is LSA that's what LSA is. It's local service ads. It's the top 3 results when somebody searches for your service. It's the main thing that if you're running any kind of home service business, if you've got at least, I don't know, $25,000 to $30,000 of revenue coming in at a minimum, I personally telling you to start throwing some money at LSA. Now, real quick, difference between LSA and Google Ads, because people get this confused. One, when we go back here, LSA is going to show up higher than Google Ads. 2, LSA is going to be based off of a service profile versus keywords. So Google Ads is going to be, I want to bid on very specific keywords. And you can get down to like tank installs, or maybe it's a certain type of roof. You can get very specific, whereas LSA, you're a little bit more generic. On Google Ads, you are going to be bidding on keywords, not leads. So clicks is pay per click, right? PPC. Whereas LSA, you only pay once the lead gets in. So there's just a slight difference there that I wanted to call out. And the basics. The basic 4 things that we're trying to do is attract more potential customers, get visibility, control your budget inside the account, and making sure that we're pushing people to a specific lead type that you want. You can control which lead types. You can do phone calls, messages, and direct booking. I think one of the things we're going to talk about here soon is the new competitor quotes, where someone can get 4 different quotes at one time. And so before this, I probably would have said, hey, phone calls are more important. But I think that new feature that's coming out is going to push us to, hey, sometimes these messages are just as important and just as impactful, and you want to be showing up. So I would definitely recommend doing more of those. And the big thing with LSA that's different than pretty much any other model, it's pay per lead. You're paying for the phone call, the message, the communication, not the marketing beforehand. And that's a big deal. So initially, we want to get your profile set up. One of the things that's also different about LSA is it is a license-based, and it is Google guaranteed. So I think Google guarantees up to like $2,500, $3,000 of your job that you do. So they want to make sure that you are an actual company, that you're actually licensed, that you actually have insurance and all of that jazz. So you will need those things. You can't just set up a bunch of these, or you can set up other profiles, but like, no, not any Joe can just go, hey, I want to test this out. Let's run some LSA ads, see if it works before I get licensed. Like, you have to actually get that set up. When you are optimizing your profiles, there's 3 things we want to focus on right now. One is services. I personally, I want to choose as many services as I can. The reason why you may not want to is if you have a service that's not super profitable for you. You're like, hey, I'm really good at HVAC maintenance, but I don't want to install a brand new AC. Which, if you're an HVAC, that's like flip. You don't want you want the opposite of that. And so, as many services as you can. Don't pick the ones you don't want, because otherwise I'm going to be getting you leads, or your team's going to be getting you leads that you don't actually like. So focus on things that you can. If you can do them all, right? It's going to help you show up more. And one of the big things that's going to make you successful in LSA is traction and momentum. Next thing is locations. We want to expand our locations as much as possible. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. I think you can select by like zip codes and counties or cities. As often as possible, we want to cover as much of a service area as possible. And then hours, one of the best kept secrets, maybe it's not a secret, but one of the best things you can do is just open up your hours, right? Have something like Hatch running off hours, messaging, the people that are coming through and trying to book with you, right? Because that's an advantage that a lot of your other people will not be able to do. You have a smaller company that's trying to just get started and they're trying to work this. Like the advantage of being able to use Hatch when they can't be 24/7 communicating is a big deal. But opening up those hours, making sure that you are, giving everybody or giving anybody a chance to reach out at any time is great. I'm gonna pause real quick and just see if there's any Q&A. It's alert, strong. Okay, I'll get back to yours, Ethan. I like your question, but give me a second. Lead management. So lead management is going to be one of the biggest pieces to LSA. In fact, I just want to kind of step back for a second and talk holistically about what makes LSA work. We talked with a lot of people about LSA, and they're like, "Oh, we've tried LSA," or I'm not getting any traction in LSA. It's just like I've put the budget up, but nothing really happens. So what LSA is a full cycle of marketing. So what Google wants to see is that you got a phone call from LSA and you answered it, or you got a message from LSA and you responded quickly. And that response or that phone call turned into an appointment, and that appointment turned into a closed won deal, and that closed won deal turned into a 5-star review. And as you do that little cycle, phone call, appointment, closed won deal, 5-star review, message, appointment, closed won deal, 5-star review. As you do that momentum, it gets easier and easier. Google trusts you more and more, and they send you more and more leads. So sometimes people are like, "Sam, you guys are genius. Great job doing the my LSA. It's crushing it." And it's like, we literally just stayed consistent. It's like a diet. Like everybody knows the right thing. Move more, eat less is like the thing, right? Like everything I explained to you today, no one's going to go, "Whoa, what do you mean opening up your hours is, what do you mean this is rocket?" Like no one's going to think this is rocket science. It's just the consistency of doing it and doing it right is what kind of takes it over to that next level, and that momentum just kind of builds on itself. When it comes to setting up services, Tyreek's got a question. When it comes to setting up services, area, location, is there a preferred method, such as zip codes, city, county names? I don't think there's a preferred method. I would just say as much as possible, right? Like, so if you have an area that's like, what do you call it? Restricted. Like you put in a zip code and it doesn't give you quite everything you want, but you'll put in like your county and it gives you a little bit more than you necessarily want. I'm going to advocate for going the more and then dropping back down. More service area means it's just going to give more opportunity for Google to send you leads. And specifically as we're early on, we want to do more than that. Yeah, zip codes work really well. Cool. So again, holistically, you've got to do the whole thing to get results, and you should be doing this. So lead management, one of the things you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're doing a lead rating. So what my team does and what your team should do is we listen to every phone call, we grade every message, and we're seeing, does the lead that came in match with the services that they have? Does it match with like the type of person that they want? If you're a window company and somebody's wanting a repair, but you don't really do repairs, you just do, new installs, like that's a bad lead. And we want to let people know that's a bad lead. Marking jobs, booked jobs. So when you're in the account, you have this, like, I don't know if you guys can see this on Zoom in. In the account, you'll have a message, you'll be talking to somebody, or you'll be listening in. Once we see that this account has, booked an appointment, we're going to rate this lead up here, and then we're going to mark it booked. And those are the two things we really want to do to make sure that this lead goes through that life cycle. So again, phone call came in, we've rated it, and we've marked it. So you need to make sure that you're doing that. And then optimization. So this is something actually one of my team members made, and I'm stealing it. And it's basically like the 6 things that you should be doing inside your account. Making sure that you're updating your accounts, making sure that you're collecting reviews, making sure that you're responding quickly to leads, monitoring and disputing and validating leads promptly, updating your business profile regularly, and then uploading photos regularly. If you want this, Chris, I didn't tell you this beforehand, but we have this. It's like a little PDF, and I'll just throw the Hatch logo on it, and then like this is a combined work. So if y'all want this, let us know, and we can send this to you. Or I'm sure you could probably just take a screenshot of it right now. But if you want that, we can make that happen. It's something, again, we've made for our clients. So for the best results, guys, go broaden your service area, add countings where possible, extend ad schedule to any time you can answer the phone or message. Consider automating answering services, and then set your budget high. In fact, I would say higher than you want to spend. If you're like, I only want to spend $5,000, set it at 7. And then again, like you get closer to the end of the month, you're like, wow, we're really pressing it. We can pull it back down. But we want to let Google know that we are willing to spend money. Real quick, LSA and GBP, these are very much interlinked. In fact, we started to try to convince, not that we've never tried to convince our clients to add services, but we've started trying to convince, like, hey, if you're doing LSA, do GBP with us. If you don't know what that is, just kind of going back to this, GBP is this. So your Google business profile, where it falls onto the map. They used to be very separate, but Google's really done a good job of combining those really efforts. And so like all the work that you do on your GBP as far as getting reviews, getting optimizations, trying to rank locally for this service really helps with LSA and vice versa. We see like a direct correlation. So would encourage that. We're not going to talk a lot about how to optimize that today, but like would encourage you guys to do that. Both GBP and LSA is one of those things where if you go to YouTube and you spend like 30 minutes or an hour learning about it, you could probably learn like 90% of what we do internally to optimize your account. So it's really, or maybe join a webinar and you could probably learn as much as you need to be able to take it on yourselves. Yeah, so again, make sure you go get those consistent reviews. Competitor quotes. Let's talk about this real quick. So this is a new feature. And if you're thinking, wow, these images look really familiar, it's because I copy and paste them directly from the Hatch blog. In fact, I went like this morning, it's like, oh, let's see if there's any new information, because I know I'm going to have to touch on this today. And like Hatch blog came up several times as the #1 article on this. So like, clearly they're doing, whoever did that, great job. So basically what's happening is,
Sam. That would be me.
That would be you? Let's go, Kristen. So right up here, HVAC repair in Boston, you see this get competitor quotes. When you push this message button, it's going to pull you over. Whoa, there we go. Over here. Wow, that's doing that. Okay. And it allow you to add details and message 4 HVAC companies at one time. Now, let me tell you why that sucks. Is because generally what would happen is somebody would call in or try to book an appointment with the one person. And so now you're having to share that lead with 3 other people. And that's not as much fun. You were having a significantly better chance of just being the #1 person that they went with when that happened. However, if you aren't #1 and you're #2 and 3 and 4, you now have a chance to compete when you didn't on the other options. So a couple things. This is good. This is bad. I generally see this as a good opportunity for you to go get some bids. 2, the fastest horse is going to win this race, period. It's like real estate, right? Real estate agents, the first person that picks up and calls somebody when they're looking for a house generally has that relationship. And once they're in there with the relationship, they're not going to try to go find another real estate agent. Same thing here. What we want to do is we want to respond as quickly as possible, and try to have that conversation. It's not, I mean, there's really nothing else to this outside of Google's doing it. If you don't like it, that's kind of sucks. Like, Google doesn't care. They're going to do this. Three, if you want to win this race, go be fast.
I'm going to also add in something here that
Yeah.
if you are searching and you don't see that feature come up, I have found that it shows up more on mobile than it does on desktop. And Sam used HVAC as the example, but this is for any industry. So basically, you say you want to get competitive quotes, and it will just automatically select 4. It's not like, oh, you get to click, which 4 businesses you want to vet at once. It's just going to pick the 4 for you. So the best practice here is basically like, if you want to be in that selection of 4, then just follow the same best practices that Sam has shared throughout this presentation. And then Sam did mention we have a blog post on it. I'll drop that in the link. I'll drop that link into the chat. And also, Sam, your LSA one pager, happy to share that in whatever form that it needs to be shared. So
perfect. And cool. And now I'm going to kind of take a little bit of a side tangent that is not necessarily LSA focused, but it's something that I want to just start preparing you for, and that is the new Google AI mode. If you don't know what this is, Google is basically starting to put ChatGPT in their search, right? So you come over here and you go into AI mode, and you can start looking for plumbers near me. Why this is important is because they're doing all the searching for somebody. And right now, when you look, LSA is not here, nor is paid ads. Now, that's only going to be for a little bit, right? This is going to change where LSA opportunities are going to be in here. But for now, everything that's being shown is organic. Now, once I've got plumbers near me, I can then dig in a little bit more. And I say, you know what? I don't want just like any plumber. I want someone local. So can you find me the local companies? I don't want to work with a chain or a national company, right? So it's literally going to, in my area, take out all the people that are bigger and chains, and it's going to bring me these handful of people that are family run. Now, that's too many to look for, so I only want 3 options, and let's find someone who is affordable. And then it's going to take it to that next step of going, okay, well, who is actually affordable? Now, how did they find out who was affordable? 2 ways. 1, your reviews, and 2, your website, so your SEO. And so you can see exactly what they're pulling through. Hey, lots of 5-star review ratings, positive reviews, and when they're being praised for their service and the competitive pricing. I've even done this a couple of times where they've like brought in like direct quotes of this is what somebody said as a review. So LSA, it's the fuel that makes LSA work is reviews, getting reviews. The thing that's going to be your future of capturing all search, whether that's SEO, paid ads, organic, anything. If you want to be competitive in search, reviews is going to be the main thing that you need to be really dang good at. So I show this. It is in tangent with LSA. It will make your LSA better. Just go. I mean, the main thing I can encourage y'all to be doing is getting really good at getting reviews, doing some local work, do your GMB and your LSA at the same time, because that's kind of the direction we're going. All right. And then what would a webinar be if it didn't have like a sneaky, left hook with a quick offer? So if you're like, Sam, that's really cool, I could do this myself, but what would it take for your team to do it? Well, let's talk about that. You can email Ethan at servicescalers.com and he'd be happy to talk to you about how you can, we could do that for you. And this special offer for this event is you get 1 month free of LSA when you sign up, or if you sign up for another service alongside LSA, I'll throw in 3 months free. And then if you want, you can ask Ethan for that PDF. And he doesn't know about, I don't even know if he knows that exists, but you can ask him, be like, hey, Sam said you got a PDF and it's really cool. Can I have it? And I'll make sure he gets it.
And Ethan Van de Hey from the audience would like to clarify that that is not the Ethan from the audience. So thank you for clarifying that, Ethan. Also, what I will do, Sam, is send me over that like image or that file and I'll link to it. When this webinar will be recorded, you'll get the recording automatically sent to you like within an hour, but we also always do a blog post recap, so that'll have a link to the PDF, and then we'll also link to the blog post in here as well.
Perfect.
I would love to get to the questions. What I want to do really quickly, actually, before I do that, is there was 2 other things from that blog post that I just want to jump in on to. So I'm going to go back to my slides here.
Get it.
So a few things. So Sam touched on the message leads, so versus call leads. You may already know this, but there's a setting for which leads types you want. And if you want to benefit from the competitive quote feature, make sure you have message leads turned on. Prioritize speed, we already talked about that. As a reminder, Google displays how long it takes you to respond in your listing. It'll say a few hours, it'll say 30 minutes. The shortest time increment that can appear on your listing is 15 minutes. Side plug, Hatch integrates directly with Google LSA. So if somebody does click on that message button, Hatch gets that and you are responding within 15 minutes, if not sooner. You can also check lead details. That can help you understand. I mean, you should basically treat anybody like they're vetting multiple vendors, because people do that anyway. I mean, the reason why Google came out with this feature, of course, Google wants to make money, but this is how people shop. So they want to request multiple quotes. Google is making it easier for people to do that. So you can look at the lead details to see. And if you see the note, like, I think it's, what do I have in this image here? This customer has also messaged other businesses, that may appear. So that can just help you. I mean, in general, you want to respond to people right away. I don't think your response is going to be that different, but just something to note. And then we talked about like getting reviews and responding quickly, and overall your communication strategy is going to be important here, because what fuels the reviews that you get is not just the service that you provide. It's how do you communicate around that service? Are you giving them updates about their project? Are you giving them appointment confirmation reminders? Are you following up on the estimate? Are you making sure the estimate appointment went well? So all of these are like the main Google ranking factors: response rate and response times, number and quality of reviews, complaints or disputes, number of bookings and repeat customers. Underneath that is your communication strategy. Not all of it, but a good portion of it. Okay, that was my quick thing that I wanted to cover on the competitive quote feature. Let's move to questions. So let's see. Let's go to the top of the Q&A here. Do you want to, let's start with Ethan's, let's just start from the top and go to the bottom. So Ethan said, I'm very active in managing our local service ads account. I promptly respond to alerts, rate leads, mark them appropriately, and regularly upload new photos. We also have over 2,000 Google reviews, currently at 2,058. Love these details, Ethan, very specific, which I know is a strong trust signal, 100%. Yep. However, our top impression rate, which is one of the most important performance metrics for LSA, keeps dropping. We've set our budget to max bidding at 20,000. So I'm not sure why we're seeing this decline. Do you have any insights into why this might be happening, or what specific steps I can take to get our top impression share back to 40% or higher? Thank you for your help.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I'm not going to be able to give you a great answer, because it sounds like you have a deeper problem. Like there's something else going on that is outside of just like your normal, hey, are you responding quickly type of question. So in this case, what my team would be doing is we would be working directly with our Google rep and saying, "Yo, what's going on? Like, we're working with our client right now, and we're doing everything you told us to do, and we're dropping month over month. How can you help us?" Right? And so sometimes they will find something that's like, "Oh, hey, you should change this." And it's like, that's literally never been a best practice. In fact, the opposite's been that. And so we'll make that change, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And then we'll flip back, like we'll turn it kind of like the on and off button that the IT team tells you to do, and we do that. Sometimes it works. So I know that's not a great answer, but that's literally, if everything else is right and you're doing all the right things, that's where we go to when we're stuck. That, where I go and I'll hire like an outside consultant. So somebody that's not on my team, maybe another marketing agency, and look, you can just pay them on like an hourly basis to come in and take a look, because sometimes the problem is obvious and we've looked at it so many times, we're just like overlooking something that is obvious. So those are the two things I personally would do if it was my business, because that's what we do when we get stuck. Hopefully that's helpful.
Great. And then we saw Ethan had responded to Tyreek's question, which Sam had already answered. Start with like a broader service area and then refine. And then Ethan is supporting Sam's claim that zip codes are the way to go. Jake, if we are trying to grow into a new area, a new zip code, is it possible or recommended to put majority of your budget towards that new area?
I don't think you can, Jake. I think you just simply put a budget and then set the area that you can do. You're making me doubt myself. If you'd asked me like 20 seconds ago before you asked it that way, I'd have been really sure that's how you do it. But now I'm like double guessing. I think you just set a budget and you go, this is the areas that you go. Now you can set up a separate like location on an LSA, and generally what you want is another GMB in that area that you can tie that to. And the one thing you want to make sure is you don't overlap those locations, because that's a no-no. That's one way you could control it. But otherwise, I don't think you can separate those budgets. Yeah. And I would go, LSA is one of those that I would go more broad than more specific.
Great. Okay, Ray, we've used LSA successfully for years, but recently paused our campaigns due to concerns around TCPA and CCPA compliance. Is there any way to modify or clarify the language that customers see when requesting contact? We want to ensure we're obtaining proper consent, especially for outreach via phone or text using platforms that could potentially fall under the definition of an ATDS or involve pre-recorded messages, AI, or similar technologies. Appreciate any guidance you can provide around how LSA handles this and what customization options are available.
Again, I'm not going to have you have a really good answer to this one either. I think that one, I feel a little nervous saying anything that would be construed as legal advice. So, say that this is not legal advice. Obviously we have hundreds of clients and we're running LSA for them, and we've not had this issue at all come up. And so we are just continuing as is and making sure that we are doing everything by the Google book and making sure that's good. But again, I've not had this issue come up, Ray.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. As Sam said, we can't give legal advice, but your concern is definitely valid, Ray. When it comes to leads sourced by, anybody other than you, like any lead that's not on your website, there should be a built-in compliance system, especially with something as big as Google LSA, or if you're using Angie, chances are they have that built in. Now, is it very clear and conspicuous? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but your best bet, if you want to be totally sure, is to get in touch with somebody at Google. I know that can be like an act of God, getting in touch with somebody from Google, but that's your best way, is to ensure that wherever their verbiage is, do they have that somewhere? And then the other option, Ray, if you are using Hatch, you can do a double opt-in. So like, let's say they click on message this business and it integrates with Hatch, and then Hatch sends out a message. This is not like, it's, again, it would be, if you didn't have consent, then like that original text message would be technically illegal. But basically you could have a text message that says like, do you want to receive communicate, you could do a double opt-in that way. But really the standard is the first message that goes out in any campaign from Hatch via text has an unsubscribe option in there, because that's required for compliance purposes. So hopefully that helps, Ray.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian wants to know, if you have multiple Google business profiles, do all your reviews for all profiles help, or just the main one?
I would say future minded. All of them are going to help, kind of like the AI mode I was saying. Everything's going to help from being able to pull in reviews from all your locations, as long as they're somehow connected, whether it's the same DBA name or something like that. Now, if we're talking about our LSA, it's really going to be the LSA that's connected to that Google business profile that's going to be effective for those locations that you're going after in that area.
Great. And Ethan, you've been great. You should probably have co-hosted this with us. Ethan wanted to add in that if you have Google Business Profile in Appleton, you want all the reviews to go to that one. And if you have it in Green Bay too, then you want those customers to leave reviews on that one. So yeah, it's pretty specific to location.
Yeah, I agree with that. Specifically, if for me, it depends. Like there is both. Like for me, the way I just search near me. So whatever is relatively near me. But if I was looking for somebody specifically who's worked in my neighborhood, or if I've looked in my city or county, you can get more specific, and those searches do exist. So you do want both those.
Yeah, totally. Cindy wants to know, if you show a really high spend, but you're not going to spend anywhere near that, is it negative since there is a large variance?
I don't think so. I've never had that situation where it's like, oh, this one definitely didn't grow because the variance was too big. Granted, if you're only wanting to spend $5,000, I would not put $100,000 as your bid. Like, I feel like that's going to, be a negative for you. But I would do something that's relatively reasonable. Like, you want to spend $5,000, throw in 7 or 10. And as you get closer to that $5,000, start to pull that down. Yeah.
Cool. Ben said, I thought you can't dispute leads anymore.
You cannot dispute leads anymore through normal. It doesn't have a button for you to dispute it. You can if you're reaching out to a Google rep, which we do. Sometimes that's we only really do it when the client comes up to us and is like, hey, I'm really frustrated that I got a window lead and we sell, roofs. And it's like, I don't know why this random one got through. And we will do, our due diligence and asking Google to give you your money back because we don't have that service selected. So that. So we've done that then. But no, you're not disputing, you're rating them. So you're just kind of giving it a rating.
Great. Do you recommend an AI agent to answer phone calls after hours?
I mean, it's better than nothing. I would. At the very least, messaging for sure, and I think you can do phone call AI agents as well.
Yeah. And I'll chime in here because Hatch, our AI agents do messaging and they answer inbound phone calls after hours. Of course, most of our customers, when they have the AI phone answerer, they say hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm a virtual agent and I can help you. And then that way it kind of reduces that friction. Because I know sometimes when people pick up, they don't want to necessarily talk to an AI agent right away. But most people do find that people don't like to leave voicemails. And so they don't wait for the phone to ring a bunch of times. So you don't always get a number to call back, and they don't leave voicemails. So most people have found that, to Sam's point, if you have nothing, then you're just losing leads after hours, especially because sometimes when people have problems, your house does not operate from 9 to 5. It has issues at any time. So the AI is really helpful for filling that gap, and then the messaging leads as well, especially because you could also be reaching out to leads during hours and they don't respond back to you until after hours. So we recommend it, obviously, but we sell the product that does that. But Ethan, our co-host, we're just loving Ethan. Ethan uses an AI agent after hours and says it's great. So, yeah. So there's different options. Ethan is using Nexa. You can use Hatch. There are different options. Cindy wants to know, how does Google choose the 4?
They don't tell you. And so I think the main thing that they do like promote on there is that the typical response is within 15 minutes. So I think you're for sure getting out of that race if you're not responding within a couple minutes. So be quick to respond, and then it's probably who's gotten good reviews recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that when you click get competitive quotes, it says Google will choose 4 businesses that respond within 15 minutes. So that is like your priority. But of course, if multiple businesses are responding within 15 minutes, of course, Google is going to go toward those reviews. And to Sam's point, not just any review, but the most recent reviews.
Yeah.
Okay. Kirsten says, it's our company policy to not give quotes until a tech is on site, not even arrange. I'm aware this is harmful both for AI price transparency and for platforms like Google LSA. Are there any workarounds here, or have your clients encountered this?
Kirsten, I want to know what you mean more about that. Are you talking about kind of like the AI mode that I was kind of describing, or are you talking specifically about like within like Hatch's automated responses on the messages? Because I think those are kind of 2 different things. But yeah, I would say that, if you're talking about just generically, I would just say that we're competitively priced, and that we are affordable. What does that mean? I don't know. It means something different to everybody. So
Exactly.
I would just start there. If you're talking about like your blogs, your website, things like that. If you're talking about messaging, I mean, 1, do whatever your policy is, right? 2, change your policy if it's not getting you the end result, which is booked appointments and revenue.
Yeah. And I'll add to that. It is mainly like when Sam was using AI mode and he's like, I just want something affordable. Like Google is going to look, and it'll look for reviews that mention the pricing. It'll look for obviously if you're a higher end company, don't say that you're affordable because that's not going to, you're not going to find the right person anyway. But if you do have affordable prices, then yes, put that on your website, put that in your Google business profile. And when somebody leaves a review, or if you're asking somebody to leave a review, don't be afraid to frame that and say like, hey, did you find our pricing was good? Or did you have a good experience? Like if you could share that in a review, that would help us.
Yep.
And then as far as the messaging through Hatch, I will speak from our AI. So the way Hatch AI works is you create a bot and you basically build the bot's brain. So you're like, here, bot, this is exactly the company profile. Here's our pricing. Here's how to address this objection. And you can say, do not give out a price or even a range. So if you needed to stay within your company policy, you could absolutely do that. And the bots are really good at being like, we cannot give out that range. And they're like very strategic and personable and friendly. They will probably give you ways to answer that question that you will start adopting and using. So there's definitely guardrails that you can put in place, even if you are using an automation or AI platform for any part of the communication with your customers. Ethan agrees. He operates the same way. Got some validation there. Can't have a question without an Ethan response. We're just loving this, Ethan. Okay, Cody, this is a really great question. Who pays for the lead if it goes to 4 companies? I know that I don't know if you have any specific answers around that, Sam, but I know that there was some ambiguity around that. I think it probably ends up being like Actually, I don't know. I'm going to let you handle this one, Sam.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, Cody, that's the question you're not supposed to ask. Google's probably gonna make all four of y'all because you all four had a chance to get the customer. You all talked to them, and that's the truth. I think it's one of those things that it's either going to be you're going to get these leads, you're all going to pay for it, and you're all going to pay a cheaper rate for this. In total, Google is going to make more a cheaper rate. Or they're going to get a bunch of frustrated customers and clients, and people are going to start dropping because it's like, well, LSAs, like the leads are just all spam. So I think it'll have to balance itself out, and it's probably going to be at first. It's not going to be as much fun at first, if I have to be honest.
Yeah.
But it'll tend to balance itself out.
Yeah. People, to validate you, Cody, people are not happy about this feature. It started rolling out like back in October, and Google likes to do this. They like to roll things out just ever so gradually, and then you don't notice it. But that was the first question. Like, people, there's like a whole PPC community, and they picked up on it. I mean, there are people that literally have like binoculars, and they're just waiting for any change to the search engine results page. And that was the first thing that came up. So you're not alone there. Molly asked a question that touches on that. We don't know if they'll be cheaper, Molly, hopefully, but we have yet to find out. Cindy wants to know if the Google AI mode will remove PE-owned companies if you tell it local.
Yes, if it knows, right? Obviously, it can't pull data that it doesn't know. But yeah, I think that'll be something that starts to happen more. Because sometimes you want the local company, and sometimes you want the bigger company. Depending on who you are and what you're actually looking for. And so I think that'll be something that happens.
Totally. Ethan provided a great response to this as well. And also, I would like to reiterate that yes, we have these automations and AI search results happening, but you have to remember that these AI agents have to pull from an information source. So it does go back to your SEO. What does your website say? What are you repeating on your website? If you really want to drive home that you are a local company, and then make that very clear on your website. Make a specific page dedicated to it. Cater your reviews to that. If you want to focus on pricing, I mean, there's ways to do it, and it's just that consistency over time. And Google is built to pick up those signals basically across your digital properties.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be situations like Neighborly is probably a good one. They're a really big brand, and everyone kind of knows that they own a bunch of different companies that Google can probably pull in and say, all right, well, we're not going to show this brand. But the company that's bought a bunch of small companies and no one really knows that it's the PE firm behind it all, that'll probably be tougher to pull through.
Yep. Yash had a question, which is the same, what if you don't mention pricing? And that what we touched on is that the agent isn't smart enough to be like, hey, this company does this price and you're going to miss out. But what is the vibe that you're giving off? If you're affordable and you're giving out that vibe, then, and you don't have to give out specific prices. It does not know your pricing.
I think people that are willing to will have a little bit of an advantage, though, because I have seen it on the roofing. Like someone, I pulled in search results where it said square foot for this type of shingle is this price. And so I thought that was really interesting. But the majority of people that I'm seeing is reviews have said they were affordable and competitively priced.
Yeah, totally. Have you had success with, quote, direct business search, quote, and how to best use?
Not enough to be able to speak on that directly with any confidence, Robert.
Not speak directly on direct business search. There's your direct answer, Robert.
Yeah. Thanks.
No problem at all. Angel wants to know, what is the best way to get a lead credit back? LSA used to be great with disputing leads, but since they use AI to audit calls, it's been so bad. I keep getting charged for so many repairs, even when we don't even have repair job types on. I've rated all of those repair leads poorly and the booked leads highly, and we still get charged for a lot of those leads that we don't want.
Yeah. I don't have a great answer for this one, Angel. I'm sorry. It's literally just like working with a rep. because we have so many clients and so much ad spend that we're spending on a monthly basis, we hold a little bit more sway with Google. And I really do mean a little bit, not a lot, because most of the time they just say, I'm sorry, Sam, that sucks. Go tell your client, we charge them anyways. But sometimes we're able to talk to somebody and kind of get this, appealed. Specifically when it keeps happening like this, we're usually able to go, hey, like this has happened a lot. But it really is about getting in touch with somebody and having them help you with that.
Yep. We're coming up on time, and there's quite a few questions here. I'm going to skip through some of these. There's one question here about, is in-person answering better than AI? Andrea, this is a great question. I mean, obviously, we all want to have a human answering the phone all the time. It's just not always possible. So yes, ideally, you have a human that can answer every single call as soon as it rings and handle it perfectly. So AI is really good at handling those phone calls. With a product like Hatch, you can make sure that certain calls get routed to your AI agent and some calls don't. I know that we've had customers say that AI is really good at sort of scrubbing the junk off of their plate so that they can focus on the calls that really matter. Not to say that there are customers that are junk, but there are a lot of customers that just want an answer right away. They want to call, they want somebody to pick up, they want somebody to say, yep, we're going to get you taken care of. Even if the AI agent says like, I will have somebody call you right back. Or if they say, a lot of our customers, the AI agent effectively sets the appointment and then somebody on the back end goes and actually books it on the calendar. So AI is really good for those customers. And then when you have your bandwidth freed up because all of those customers are being taken care of, then you can have your humans on the phone with people, like Penny, who really, maybe she's a little bit older and she gets really concerned about her heater and you really want to have somebody there to answer that call. So I hope that's a helpful answer for you. Let's see. There's a question here about, can you change the email that the message leads go to? LSA support says no.
Say that question one more time. I'm trying to read it.
Is there an easy way to change the email that the messages go to? LSA support says no.
Feel like it is an easy answer. I don't know.
I feel like it should be. Like you should be able to have control over where those go to, but
yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's just updating the email that's on the account. Because I know, like when I've been added to other clients' accounts, I get emails for their the leads that are coming through. So I feel like you should be able to.
Yeah. Will wants to know about answering services after hours. Is it a problem if they put people on hold for more than, say, a minute or two? Ethan has a good response, of course, here. They never put people on hold. They will hang up so quick. And I agree. People just don't want to wait. The other thing that can be really hard with answering services is they just don't know your brand. Again, it is a solution to after hours and overflow calls, but a lot of times they're pretty expensive and they just don't know your brand. So of course I'm biased because we have AI agents, but I've also seen how well our AI agents work. And what's really cool about AI is like you give it its instructions, you train it on day one and it's pretty much good to go. And then of course you monitor its conversations and you tweak it. But when you say to it, don't give out pricing at all, it says like, yep, got it. Don't have to tell me twice. And it's set, it's done. And they will follow your rules to a T. So that's another advantage of AI. But answering services are also a doable solution. Absolutely.
Cool.
All right. Before I forget, I'm going to launch this poll. If you are interested in either learning about Hatch or service scalers, you can choose option A for Hatch or option B for service scalers, and we will have somebody reach out to you. Or if you want both, you can choose option C. And also, this is not limited to non-Hatch customers. If you are a Hatch customer and you have questions about your account, Maybe you're not using AI in Hatch and you want to use AI, or maybe you just have been putting off a question that you have for your account manager for a long time. Feel free to choose option A, and we'll make sure that your account manager gets in touch with you. So I will leave that poll up. Okay. I don't know if it actually stays up, but all right. Let's do one more question. Rachel wants to know, should I have separate LSA campaigns for each Google business profile? We have multiple locations with their own Google business profile. Can the service areas on the profiles overlap, or will that make my campaigns compete against one another?
Yeah, you don't want them to overlap. You want the locations to be separate. It's a no-no. Like, you'll get yourself in trouble. So don't do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys have been awesome. Ethan, feel free to send over your business information and get you hired for the next webinar.
Yeah.
Sam, you've been fantastic as always giving great information. Again, the recording for this webinar will automatically be sent to you. And then the Q&A, I always make sure, especially for this webinar, to include every question and every answer. I think we hit most of them. If you had a question in here that did not get answered, I know we didn't answer every single one of them. You will have my email, because the webinar emails, you have my email somehow. And when we send out the recap, so feel free to ask. And I think that about covers it. So Sam, thank you. We will see you guys again for the next one.
See you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.